In this video, Perseverance sees a strange rock spire, while Mars is blasted with intense radiation. The rover explores an area called Bright Angel, which is home to an unusually colored rock, and finds a curious group of rocks with a popcorn texture. The rover has been looking toward the sun, which is usually done to assess the amount of dust in the atmosphere. Sometimes, however, Perseverance can see other things happening. These black dots are sunspots. Sunspots are cooler areas on the surface of the sun, with intense magnetic fields. These strong magnetic fields are erupting to become solar flares, sending a lot of radiation towards the rover. Coincidentally, the Curiosity rover was watching for dust storms. At the exact moment these charged particles began hitting the planet. The flashing specks in this clip are those charged particles from the sun. Curiosity's radiation detector measured a sharp increase in radiation at this time, the biggest surge the mission has seen since landing in 2012. If astronauts had been standing next to Curiosity at the time, they would have received a radiation dose equivalent to 30 chest X-rays. Well, not deadly. This is something we must consider if humans are to set foot on Mars. It's all 11:54 and, after taking some images of its previous abrasion patch, the NASA team orders Perseverance to begin descending into the ancient river channel. Perseverance looks downriver. The deep sand dunes you can see here would have caused the rover a lot of trouble if it had tried to cross them earlier in the mission. Perseverance finds itself at a standstill at the edge of the channel, blocked by dunes. The rover must now navigate a path through these obstacles. Perseverance currently rests at Overlook Mountain, a high point on the edge of the channel. NASA team members examine the orbital images to help find the safe route. The team would also like the rover to study Mount Washburn, which may have been a small island on the ancient river. This image captures the rover's elevated position at Overlook Mountain, with its tracks visible in the Martian soil. Perseverance glances up the river channel from its vantage point, happy to see less frequent and shallower dunes. The descent begins. The rover observes a sunset against the imposing riverbank as the day progresses. As the sun rises again, Perseverance continues its cautious journey through the hazardous channel. The rover carefully avoids large dunes like this one, which could potentially lead to it getting stuck. Here you can see the depth of some of these dunes. Perseverance has to be highly cautious. As the rover passes alongside these perilous dunes, it's ordered to take images of the riverbed rocks. They have an interesting texture, although very similar to what we've seen. In the surrounding area there are lots of small nodules, which signal the presence of water in the past. The rover takes to supercam images for the team to analyze. Perseverance again looks back toward the river bank. The bank is made up of many rocks. It is possible that many of these were transported here by water. The rover carefully charts a course to Mount Washburn. Upon arrival, the NASA team notices that Perseverance has picked up another hitchhiker. A rock is stuck in the rover's wheel, and it has gained the rather fitting nickname Dwayne. The rock poses no danger and should eventually fall out on its own. At Mount Washburn, the NASA team sees something very odd. One rock stands out among the others. The light-toned rock with the dark speckles is nicknamed Atoko Point. Perseverance is eager to drive up to the rock and examine it. The rover quickly looks back at some dangerous dunes that it is avoided during the descent. It also examines the tracks left behind, as it drove over some of the shallower, less dangerous dunes. As the rover moves closer to Otoko Point, it becomes clear that many boulders obstruct any close-up scientific research. Looking back at the tracks, we can see the terrain has been relatively free of boulders up until now. What's interesting here is that the boulders appear to have been collected by Mount Washburn as ancient water transported them downstream. The boulders are rounded in nature, consistent with rocks transported by water. This is compelling evidence of the strength of Anaretva Vallis's flow. Perseverance is taken so many images in this area that they can be combined into a full 360-degree panoramic view. First, we can see the rover's tracks and the riverbank from which we descended. Now you're looking at some dangerous dunes we avoided along the way. Mount Washburn is now coming into view. It is a high point of the riverbed that may have been an ancient island. A white rock named Otoko Point stands out here. Behind Mount Washburn's the opposite riverbank. Remember, Naradva Valleys is around a quarter mile or 400 meters wide. Just under the northern riverbank is a layer of light-toned rocks, which the NASA team is named Bright Angel. After studying Otoko Point, the plan is to head here and investigate. As we now come full circle, we look upstream with the crater rim in the distance, at either side of the channel. If you like these videos, please support the channel by purchasing our newly created merchandise. It helps to keep this series going. Perseverance takes a closer look at the bright rock. The NASA team orders the rover to use its supercam. Due to the number of boulders in this area and their relative size, it's better to study this rock from a distance. Analysis by the rover supercam instrument suggests that Otoko Point is composed of pyroxene, similar to other boulders in Jezero crater. However, its mineral grains, crystal structure, and chemical composition differ from those of any other rocks the rover is previously encountered. Some scientists believe the minerals at Otoko Point formed in a subsurface magma body, now exposed on the crater rim. In contrast, others speculate the boulder may have originated far beyond Jezero's walls and was transported here by ancient Martian waters. This will become clearer as we studied the type of rocks found on the crater rim. This is one of the many strange rocks found at Mount Washburn. The rock in this image appears to be glistening in the Martian sun. The rover is now instructed to move away from Mount Washburn and head to the light-toned area named Bright Angel. As the rover arrives at the start of the Bright Angel area, it captures a mosaic. Interestingly, the rover sees something that stuns NASA scientists. It's a group of rock spires that point upwards. As Mars has lower gravity than Earth, these spires are likely just harder mineral veins that remain after wind erodes the surrounding softer material. Some people have suggested that this could be petrified sand caused by a lightning strike. But lightning on Mars is rare and weak due to the thin atmosphere. We've seen all sorts of strange shapes on Mars before. Take a look at this image from the Curiosity rover in 2015. It contains a rock that looks like a spoon. The low gravity and thin atmosphere on Mars means the wind can carve out shapes that we typically wouldn't see here on Earth. Other sharp and flaky-looking rocks are also present. This detailed mosaic shows many of the rocks on the ground beneath Perseverance. The entire area is filled with these sharp and thin rocks. The rover moves on, looking upstream once again. On the right, more of the Bright Angel Formation is visible. The NASA team believes these light-toned, rocky outcrops may represent either ancient sediment that filled the channel or possibly much older rock that was subsequently exposed by river erosion. Also present in the area are what can only be described as pebbles. Small rounded rocks, probably formed by the ancient river. Perseverance takes a closer look using its SuperCam instrument. The rover arrives at the main portion of the light-toned material or bright angel and captures many images to form a mosaic. The rocks here are bizarre. They have a bumpy texture, which NASA has likened to popcorn. The small bumps are commonly referred to as nodules and are usually formed by flowing water. These rocks also contain an abundance of veins, which have created some interesting shapes. Take a look at this flat-faced rock. This is likely due to a mineral vein running through the rock, where the softer material has completely eroded, leaving the strikingly flat surface of the harder vein material. The darker colored rocks are also strange, some of them having a Swiss cheese appearance. This one in particular also has some flat faces. We're still determining whether these darker rocks are older or younger than the lighter toned material, but knowing this will give us an indication of when exactly water was present. The rover and the team at NASA are incredibly excited about this area. It's a shame the Ingenuity helicopter couldn't be here to help us explore. NASA orders the rover to find a suitable location to take a sample. Perseverance gets right to work and successfully abrades the surface. The rock is so weakly solidified and brittle that chunks broke away during the abrasion.